And I think we're live. There we go.
Right.
All right, so what's going on, everyone? This is Jay here from Texas Cloud Town, back again with the Weekend Wisdom Vape Vlog, episode 9. And as you can see, I got two amazing people down here on the panel who are going to be helping me out with this one. So go ahead and introduce yourselves and let them know kind of like what y'all do and how y'all are doing today.
All right, which one do you want to go first?
Go for it, Sean.
All right.
There you go.
Sure. So what's up, everybody? In case you don't know, I'm Sean Typhon. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. All of that. But what do I do? I'm a guy that just works in a vape shop. I run a e-liquids review site page, whatever you want to call it, here on YouTube. So definitely go check that out. Co-host with the other gentleman here on the panel, Mr. Frames Janklin, on the show The Green Room Friday nights. And yeah, man, beyond that, I'm just an angry vapor who wants to see some change and is willing to keep fighting as long as everyone's ready to fight with us. And that's who I am. Are we getting into the buffets or do you want to wait?
Yeah, go ahead. Spit out your buffet, man.
So what I'm vaping on, I'm gonna start it out like this. Where's my my focus button? If you guys watch the shows, then you know, bam, the focus button. Yes. And here we go. Starting it off. Green Dreamer with that Ardent on top, DHD color changing tip because it's a solid combo. Absolutely. And if you were watching last night, then you should already know that I'm vaping Crispies by Sickwid. High quality liquid. And when we're talking about, you know, advocacy and stuff like that, talk about proper branding, man. That is fantastically responsible labeling right there. I'm going to keep it moving quick because I know we got a lot we want to talk about today. So next, got the Turk V2 on top of another aluminum dreamer. And I got that DAP Money Dough tip from DHD on there. And inside of that, we're rocking Tango Chill. That's Tango Melon with a little bit of a Coolada in it, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's my jam. I'm digging the hell out of that liquid right now. Shout out to Poon Sauce McNasty for turning me on to that. Bang. Coming up next, the Hammer from Warlock's Mods. Warlock's Hammer is a beast. Got the axial RDA on top, running it in a dual configuration because I think that's where it shines. And Smoothie Liquids, Strawberry Banana Smoothie. It is a legit strawberry banana flavor. As a guy that's not huge into fruits, got a lot of fruits on my my buffet today. And that's it for me, man. So I'll pass it off to James.
All right. What's going on, guys? I apologize in advance if you guys hear a lot of background noise. I got some new tile going in outside my room here. So there may be some banging and stuff going on, but I'll try to mute myself so you guys don't hear all that. I guess I'll introduce myself. First off, like they said, I am Frames Janklin Vapor. I have my own channel here on YouTube. You know, I do vape reviews, a couple live streams throughout the week. Vaping with the Homies is the next one coming up here on Monday. It's going to be on my channel, 5 p.m. Pacific. You know, we touch on advocacy. We have, you know, a special guest on from time to time talking about what they've got going on, whether it be new products, stuff like that. Also, like Sean said, we got the stream going on Fridays called The Green Room. You know, that's a stream that we pretty much, you know, hang out. We have a few guests on from time to time. Of course, we touch on advocacy there as well. And it's just like a little hangout spot, you know, to get prepped up before the vapes do on Fridays. And like I said, other than that, you know, I'll post up a couple vape reviews throughout the week and all that good stuff. Of course, you can find me on Instagram as well at Frames Janklin Vapor. That's all one word. And same thing on Facebook and all that good stuff. But, you know, other than that, I guess I could just jump into my buffet here. First setup that I got today, I am rocking the Turk V2 on top of my Get Low 18650 hybrid mech. Inside of this, I have some Tango Melon by Transistor. Absolutely love this stuff right here. It's mango, tangerine, watermelon, and it's just deliciousness. Make sure I got a battery in this thing. There we go. Absolutely delicious stuff there. Next setup, I've got that BT Customs Squarius XL with those green humidors. Of course, I got the basic 1.1 on top. Absolutely love this setup here. Super matchy. Inside of this,
fly.
Crazy enough, the juice I have in here kind of matches too. I got some of that Lime Time by Sickwid. This is his lemon or his lime soda, and this stuff is pretty banging too as well, guys. Sickwid makes some pretty banging juices. And last but not least, I've got the Profile Unity on top of my Warlock's Guardian DNA 250C by The Gathering Vapor. If you guys want to check them out, you could check them out on Instagram at The Gathering Vapor or The Gathering Vapor Lounge on Facebook. Of course, Unity by Mr. Just Right One and TVC, you know, that mesh RTA action. And got to say, probably one of the most flavorful tanks that I've used, in my opinion. Inside of that, I've got some of that Fountain Blast Off. This stuff is like Baja Blast Mountain Dew, and I absolutely love the hell out of this stuff. So much so that this is like my 10th or 11th bottle. I've almost kind of lost count. Me and my Lanta, one of my homies from Vaping with the Homies, are having like a competition. You know, it's like an unspoken competition of who's gonna vape the most bottles of Blast Off. And I think right now we're tied up. Other than that, you know, kicking around with the pod system here that I dropped on the floor. SX Yeehee pod, got some vanilla custard from my main man Overdrip that he made up for me in 12 milligram 50/50 free base. And yeah, it's, you know, just like one of those things I carry with me on a daily basis, you know, gets me through the day when I can't, you know, sit there and take nice fat rips off my sub-ohm devices. You know, a little 12 milligram free base. It just does a trick. And that's it for me, Jay. What do you got for us tonight, bro?
All right. So first, I got my Revenant Cartel with the Axial on there with a dual coil build in there. And inside that, I got Marcellus.
Oh,
some pretty good stuff.
Dude.
I've been liking it. I got 2 bottles of that, so I'm hopefully I don't run through it too fast.
Yeah, it's
next. I got
bro. Did you know that?
Yeah, and I found it. I was like, man, I'm gonna order some more, and I think they're all sold out now.
I'm gonna give you a heads up. Sad Boy Butter Cookie, bro. Definitely a good replacement, dude. I think I might like this better than Marcellus.
Dang, I'm gonna need to try it.
Just a heads up.
Next up, I got the Warlock's Hammer from the Gathering Vapor. If y'all don't know about them, go check them out. Go get y'all one. And I got the Bonza on top, the Bonza RDA, or the 1.5. Got the kit in there. I'm really enjoying the RDA right now. And inside that, I got some Pan Am. It's peanut butter, banana vape. So, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good liquid. Next, got something I've been seeing everyone doing, and I'm like, man, that's dumb. Why would someone do it? But I kind of understand because I don't have a squonk pen for this. But I got the Recoil Rebel on top of the Homeboy OC Rage, and I am not squonking it. I am dripping on it. So, and inside that, I got some of this juice with a G, and it's a strawberry hibiscus tea or something like that. It's a kind of a weird flavor, and it was a little interesting. So I was like, you know what? I really want to try that. And it's pretty good.
I did a strawberry hibiscus white tea once that was super good. So
yeah, my boy Danny.
Yeah, it's really good. It's not too overpowering or anything. So I'm really enjoying that. Then next, I got the Dead Goat on top of the Kennedy Vindicator with some ripe peach mango pineapple. My all-day vape. I've been really enjoying this. The Dead Goat, man. If anyone does not have it, go out there and pick y'all one up. It's way better than Dead Rabbit, Drop Dead. I love it more than anything right now. It's probably my favorite vape all day, and I keep it with me everywhere I go.
Dude, I literally have mine sitting off to the side here too, which I am vaping on as well, but you know.
Yeah, I can't wait till they come out with more colors and everything, because I'm gonna start ordering those like crazy.
Yeah, dude.
And it's gonna they're pretty good, and I can't wait to see what else they have to come out with. So that's all I got. So advocacy. Well, I really want to get into this time so that way everyone knows I'm not going to be reading off a lot of reports, and we're not going to be going off a lot of reports. We're going to pretty much be talking about what our opinion is on what the government can do and what they are not doing and what they are hiding from the general public. I know that we can't sit there and say we can't make billboards and do all this other stuff and make a whole bunch of advertisement inside newspapers saying that it's safer and it's healthier and all this and that. But this is a platform that I really want to use to try to let everyone know how much safer and how much healthier it is for everyone, and how much more effective it is than any other NRT product. So this week, I saw the angry hippie, Sean Typhon. I saw him. I saw M Turk. man, they were going on rants and rants and rants, and they were doing all these things to try to help people out, to show them what to do. And that really got me inspired. And I've been inspired for a while, but I mean, that just really, I was about to go to sleep. I was like, you know what? I got a couple hours. I could stay up and I could do something. So I stayed up and I did a bunch of research on stuff I already knew about, but stuff I wanted numbers for. And I wanted actual data instead of just saying, well, yeah, I mean, it's a couple thousand or something like that. I want to know exact amounts and exact amount of people and how many deaths and everything. So, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that I really want to talk about, but the main things is what our government's doing, what other governments are doing, and what we think our government should do. So, I mean, right now the table's open. I had a couple things I want to bring up is about like I mean, everyone knows it's 48,000 people a year dying alone just in America. So, I mean, that's just a huge number for me. That I think that it's crazy how we're going to still try to ban something that's safer and healthier for you. And we know it's more effective, but yet we got 100 or 1,200 to 1,300 people dying every day, and we're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Or not us as vapors, but the government. And it's just something that's just so crazy to me that I'm like, I don't understand this, but yet you got other countries who are trying to go smoke free. And they're trying to do that by, like I've said in other videos, they're putting taxes on cigarettes, making pack of cigarettes over $20-something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bunch of different things.
Well, like, honestly,
so, I mean, what are y'all's thoughts on all this?
Like, the biggest thing, man, is like, this is something that it always ultimately comes down to is our government makes their decisions based off of money and revenue. So, of course, you've got, you know, these pharmaceutical companies making those NRT products, you know, the Chantix, you know, the patch, you know, the gums and all this stuff. And they're in the government's in their pockets. They're shareholders. They, you know, they get money from these companies, you know what I mean? And it's, at the end of the day, vaping is taking away from those pharmaceutical companies because less people are going to those products. There are less people trying to use the gums and stuff like that because they're finding vaping, and vaping is a more successful, you know, alternative. There's more people that are being able to quit. It's twice as effective as any of these other products out there. There's studies that show this, and you know, at the end of the day, it's hurting them financially. So what they're going to do is they want to go after this to shut this down so they can get people back on their products or get their hands in it. Like you've seen with Altria getting in with Juul, because they want to be the first people out there being able to put out this product because they have the money to go through these, the PMTA, why can't I remember the word? Is it PMTA process, Sean?
Well, it's a pre-market application process. I mean, when we're talking about an NRT, we're talking about a pharmaceutical process, which is 3 to 5 times as cumbersome and costly as a PMTA process, which, you know, leads you into that construct of it's interesting because there's certain requirements in order for someone to have the ability to pass through the system and become a verified pharmaceutical product, whether it be an NRT, a painkiller, whatever it might be. And one of those things is clinical trials. And one of the things we see is that Juul's already getting those clinical trials in hand. There's other hurdles. There's you know, other testing. They have to show that their product is going to be more effective than existing products. Well, hey, New England Journal of Medicine took care of that for them. And so there's a lot of things that they have to provide in order to get through that process. And it is a prohibitive cost for a lot of the mom and pop brands that we know and love. So when you think about a company like Transistor or Siquid as an e-liquid manufacturers, having to scrap everything they've invested into the PMTA process and completely shift gears into the NRT pharmaceutical process, it's completely detrimental to their business. It's not something that they could easily do.
It's going to be very costly.
Yeah, it's a prohibitive cost. And unfortunately, that seems designed. but there's speculation that that example may not necessarily come to fruition. That's something we can kind of build on and elaborate in a little bit. But it's a tricky scenario, because what we see right now is a epidemic of youth use, and I'm gonna say it like that. Based on that is the general public's understanding of what's going on. So that's their perception. And when it comes to that, we have to understand that these are adult products that are being sought and abused by children. And I don't think there's a person in this chat right now, I don't think any one of us on the panel can say that we started as adults when it came to smoking and using tobacco products. I'm pretty confident all of us started underage. So it begs the question here. If you want to get to the root of youth use, we need to understand why our kids seeking out these vape products to begin with.
Yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah. And like you said, the government's all ran off of revenue and money. And if they're not making money, this is something they're going to try to either join, like they did with Juul, like you've already said, and this is something that they're going to try to fight against. And you see it, like y'all have said, is they're fighting against all the small mom and pop places. They're fighting against all the liquid companies, all of the mod companies. They're fighting all against them, so that way they can have just theirs, and they want to have theirs and only theirs. And that's something that
let's remove ourselves from all of it for a second and like step back in time for a minute. You know what I mean? America, we're talking about, 1620 Pilgrim's Land at Plymouth Rock. They step off a boat on a new land, no friggin' clue what the hell's going on. And in that first year, among everything else in their settlement process, was an introduction to a plant that was sacred to the native people. That was the tobacco plant. And this became part of American culture from day one. We have to remember, and this is something I think we often overlook in the vape scene as a whole, in the whole community, be it the industry or the community aspect of it. This country is built by tobacco. This country would not exist if not for tobacco. The tobacco farms in Virginia, in North Carolina, South Carolina, their revenue that they created in the early days of the building of this country were what built our country to what we are today. So when we look at it from that perspective, we remember that as we get older, we don't like change. Change is something that as we continue to get older, we begin to resist more and more. And what have we done? We have disrupted the status quo with a technology that has changed the landscape of nicotine ingestion. Prior to vapor, you had very few options for tobacco and nicotine ingestion that were less harmful. You would dip, you would snooze. You didn't have much that gave you the sensation of smoking without the damage of smoking. And now that we've come along in the last 10 years as an industry and flipped the status quo on its head, it's not a surprise that everybody who has, we're talking about people whose families come from those lineages where this country was built by tobacco. They don't want to see that revenue stream broken, and they also don't understand how to diversify their investments in order to make it so that they can shift with the times. That's where our fight lies. The dinosaurs don't want to shift with the times, and we're shifting, we're moving, and there's going to be pushback.
Oh yeah. And something I kind of want to bring up, and it's not just because stuff on the vape stew that happened like yesterday, and I mean, it was a great talk on there yesterday, but something I saw that I really thought of was when there's pushback, you got to keep pushing forward. You got to stay motivated. I don't care how. I understand, yeah, there's some people who put a lot of money into this. They put a lot of money into their business, and their business can be shut down. They could lose everything they have. And y'all have talked about that. Y'all have talked about how a little mom and pop store can lose everything they have throughout this, but we need to make sure we're fighting it. Because I mean, even if those little mom and pop stores aren't fighting, then what are they doing to help themselves? And what are we doing to help them? Because I mean, everyone's gonna go down. Even the like, I love how Sean always says it. It's like we're talking in a chamber, and we're hearing our echo, and we're talking to ourselves. Because all we're doing is we're going and talking to vapors. And I guarantee you, more than half of the vapors out there, or way more than half the vapors out there, are actually only talking to vapors about vaping.
That's something I try to emphasize.
We're not talking about to anyone else.
Yeah, that's something I try to emphasize to people too on like whenever we bring up these conversations and stuff like that, is like, as great as it is to talk to the community about what's going on, we need to reach outside the community, outside of the vaping circle, and, you know, reach the smoker, you know, the person that hasn't found this yet, and let them know about, you know, how much easier it was for you to switch, you know, after, you know, trying multiple different, you know, other avenues, or just how much healthier you feel after making the switch. Because I don't know about you guys, but within that first week or two, I already noticed a difference. Like, I could start smelling things again. Like, things actually started tasting good that like I had, you know what I mean? Like, just little things like that, being able to, you know, get up in the morning and not cough up all that junk from, you know, the day before of like a heavy day smoking, like if you were out at the bar with your buddies, or, you know, whatever. Like, just all that alone, plus all the other, you know, benefits of it when it comes to, you know, like the community and having that support system that you can find when you get, you know, enveloped in it, and just like everything that comes along with it. You know, if you can, you know, spread that knowledge onto somebody that hasn't found it yet, like the smoker, or, you know, the person that wants to find, you know, that alternative or get off of smoking, you tell them. And, you know, some people, it might just go one in one ear, out the other. But, you know, might talk to that one person that actually grasps some of what you're saying, and they might take that knowledge and they might go tell their friends, and then their friends are going to go tell their friends. And the next thing you know, it's a trickle down effect. You know what I mean? But in order for us to do that, we have to reach outside of our circle, outside of the actual vaping community, and talk to the smoker, or people that maybe that don't even smoke, but may know somebody that smokes. You know what I mean? And you tell them that information.
I think everybody remembers the famous picture of Eric Vinyl and Vapor standing outside of the vape shop with a sign that says that they can't help you, I can. That's the approach that we're missing right now, I think. You know, several months back, Frames and myself, we were working very hard with an organization known as I Quit Smoking by Vaping. And during that time, one of our big pushes in our social media campaigns was to stop using vape-related tags for our positive advocacy stuff and start using the news sources, because the people who are reading the hashtags for CNN and Fox News, those are the people who are believing the mass media's portrayal of this,
those bogus studies that are being put out, because those are the ones using those hashtags.
Exactly.
We need to continue to do to this day. If, you know, like if you ever see an advocacy post and you're going to repost it, throw a couple, you know, news avenue like links in there, you know, in the hashtags, or just use something other than a vape hashtag, you know, like just anything.
That's a great idea.
Living.
Honestly, whenever I repost it, I do that.
You know, it's going to pop up in different feeds. Different eyes are going to see that, because it's, you know, something outside of the community. So if you guys ever, you know, repost anything advocacy oriented, try to throw other hashtags in there. You know what I mean?
We forget
that's something I really need to do.
Exactly.
I repost, I don't say a lot, but I repost a lot of advocacy stuff that I like. If I see something that I really enjoy and I know it's something that could get a word out there, I honestly do not change the hashtags that are put in there, and I don't put any more. And that's something, honestly, I should really think about doing. I'm really glad you brought that up, because honestly, that's a good way to reach out to more people. Because the way, like, you look at the way that the world is changing now. It's all technology. You don't see anyone writing letters. You don't see anyone picking up a phone to call someone. It's texting, or if you're going to call someone, you're FaceTiming. I get it all the time. My fiance, that's what she does. She does not call anyone. She FaceTimes or texts. I'm like, dude, we need to answer now. So, I mean, that's something that's amazing right there. Is, yes, like James just said, go on there, put different hashtags, put hashtags to stuff that won't go to vapors, because we don't need to be talking to ourselves. Pretty much, if you're putting that, the only person who's
that kind of stuff. You want the stuff that's going to attract the people who are going to be sympathetic to the position. So when you're tagging it with healthy living and you're tagging it with fitness and things like that, those people see it and go, this dude made a life change, and it's a positive life change, and he's living healthier. Maybe this vaping thing isn't so bad. That's strange, because the news kept telling me that this guy's gonna die just like if he was a smoker, but he's running and he's doing all these things that he couldn't do. Well, maybe I'm all upside down on this topic. And it's super simple. But the thing to keep in mind too is that you have to remember who you're talking to.
Exactly.
And so
you gotta remember who the audience is.
Yeah, you always want to frame your message for your audience. I mean, if you're going to be talking to the wellness audience, you want to frame, what you're doing in a wellness light. If you're talking to, old politicians who are still stuck in the old way, well, then you got to remember that, and you got to talk to them the way that they need to be spoken to. Because if you just come at them like, hey man, check it out, this vape thing that you guys are so against isn't so bad, and you really need to back off because vaping's pretty cool, man. It's not going to have the same effect as when you're hitting them with genuine fact and proper English and proper punctuation, and that stuff matters to them. Yet when you're on Twitter and you're going back and forth with Joe Rogan, yeah, you can be a goofball and you can use slang and he's going to get it. You have to remember who you're speaking to.
Absolutely. And that's another good point as well, is if you guys are active on Twitter, tag these people when you do posts about advocacy and stuff on Twitter. Tag these representatives, you know what I mean? Tag these news outlets, retweet them, message them, if you're active on that Twitter, because Twitter is a great place for that. That's where all these politicians and stuff hang out. That's where they do most of their posting on social media and stuff like that. That's a great avenue to, actually, send stuff over to them and have it be seen by, it might not be seen by them directly, but it's going to be seen by their social media, assistants or the people that are running those accounts. And eventually, if, they get tweeted out enough with the same types of things, eventually they're going to read it and it's going to be made known to them. So that's also a great avenue as well.
Yeah. And I've talked so much about Twitter, and I honestly rarely use it. When I first started getting back into like the big advocacy push and everything, once all these laws started coming out, I started using Twitter more and more, but I didn't really take my own advice. I just, the other day, whenever I was doing all this research, checking up on everyone, on all my representatives, making sure they're still the same, making sure I have their emails on there, making sure I have their contact info and it's all right and it's all the right ones and nothing changed. I forgot that, I can actually go follow these people on Twitter. I barely typed in like half their name and they popped right up. And it says, hash or like a / Texas. So I was like, okay, I know I'm going to the right person. And that's like that. Twitter is such a good place to use it because it's I don't want to say it's the new Facebook, but Facebook was huge back then for a lot of older people, and it seems like Twitter is the Facebook or the Instagram for politicians. Because they might post every now and then on something like a different social media platform, but that's gonna be their main one because they don't have to post a bunch of pictures. All they're gonna do is post a quote or a bill or something that they want to put out there. And there's so much that you could do to you where you could tag people, like you said, James, to where you can actually catch their attention. And that's something we really need to be doing, is catching attention of the people who are fighting against this. So that way maybe they change their mind. And even if they don't, we're putting in their head that, okay, someone did say this is 95% healthier for you or safer. And it is 2 times more effective. Maybe I should rethink about what I'm actually doing, instead of them just going on and saying, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and pass these laws. Let's actually fight. Let's try to do something to help out the actual community. And
it's great it's great efforts like that. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of us, we've all watched Chuck's video. We all know what Chuck Allen, NorCal Sick Boy, had to say, and he's not wrong. The letters, the emails, all of that, it it's an effort. It is. But when you go to one of these flavor ban hearings, or you go to one of these, any of these hearings for these laws, and there's one, maybe two vapors in attendance to defend vaping, and there's 100 antis, the message that's getting sent to the people on those committees is that the vapor community doesn't care. They don't care. And, I have to agree. They don't care, because this is the thing. I was a cannabis activist here in my home state of Massachusetts for my entire adult life. And the organizations that I would work with, our branch of Normal here, they were always organizing marches and rallies. And there was a yearly event that we held in our Boston Common where it was a display of civil disobedience, where we said, listen, we're gonna openly consume this product in front of you, and we're gonna show you that it's not as evil as you think. And it was through 20 years of that before this state was able to change the mind of enough people to change the laws. And so, we're talking about rallies with hundreds of people showing up at the State House. We're talking about the big event with thousands and thousands of people showing up. And, it's going to be really hard for anything that you want to see happen in a political setting to happen when you don't have enough physical support. If you think about, they give you 5 minutes to air your side or your argument in one of these kind of hearings. Well, if you got 2 to 100, that's 10 minutes of pro-vaping talk and several hours of anti-vaping talk. Who are the people in attendance going to side with?
Yeah. You hear that first 5 minutes, and then halfway into the anti, you're gonna forget about that first 5 minutes real quick.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, it's why I get fired up, and it's one of those, like, I know I walked that real fine line of like going too far into the militant side, but man, like, we have to be honest with ourselves here at some point and say, look, man, if we want this to be successful, we got to commit. I mean, to kind of like go off on a slight rant here, it's an old story from one of my favorite motivational speakers. And he says there was this guru, right? And this young man says to the guru, look, I want to be successful just like you. And the guru says to him, all right, you want to be successful? Meet me at the beach at 5:30 in the morning. And the young man says, the beach? I want to make money, and this guy wants to take me swimming. But he's making a ton of money, so I'm gonna listen. So he shows up 5:30 in the morning, got the suit and tie on, he's ready to go. The guru says, come walk out into the water with me. Dude goes, this is getting crazy. So old man's making money, but he crazy. So he walks out a little bit. The old man says, come on a little further. Now the water's getting up around the young man's waist. Guru says, come on, let's keep going. Water gets up here to about the shoulder area. The guru says, let's go, keep going. Now the water's up here and it's hitting his lips, and he's fighting. And just as the young man decides, man, this guy's crazy, I'm getting out of here, the guru grabs him by the shoulders and shoves him under the water and holds him under the water. And the guy's scraping and fighting and scratching to try to get out. And when the guru lets him up and they get back to shore, he says, when I was holding your head under the water, what did you want more than anything in the world? And the young man responded with, to breathe. The guru looked him in the eye and said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And that's where I love that one. That's where I look at us now and I go, man, some of y'all kind of want it. Some of y'all kind of want vaping to live, but you only want vaping to live when it's convenient. But, come Sunday afternoon when the football game comes on, you can't sacrifice that. But you know what I mean? Like, when your favorite show is on, you can't put that time aside to do what you want to do to be successful. And so that's my look at this now, is like, if you really, really want to be successful and see this thing go where you think it needs to go, you've got to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of who you are today so that you can become who you want to be. And if that means that you want to be a leader in a vape community, you got to sacrifice a little of who you are today to become that individual that you're striving to be. Man, I want nothing more than to inspire every person who hears me to go out and do that little bit extra, to write that letter, to show up to one of the meetings, to just show up at your representative's doorstep in their office and be like, got some time? I'll sit here all day so you can make some time. Like, I just want 10 minutes of your time to talk to you. They have to do that. That's their job. They're elected officials. They have to listen to you. You know,
they're there for you.
Exactly. But that's the thing, is like, I get it. Life is complicated. We got things to do. We got families, we got jobs, we got all of that. But you know what? None of that's gonna matter if you're back to smoking and you're gone. You gotta fight for what you believe in, man. And if we really believe in vaping enough to call ourselves advocates, activists, vape warrior, whatever the hell kind of title you want to use for it, man, if you want to wear that badge, let's do this.
There's another good quote for this scenario that I always like. It's you don't have to, if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? You have if you believe in this, you have to fight for it. You know, if you don't, that's just how it is, guys. You know what I mean? There's nothing's promised to anybody. You know, if you want it, you have to go out there and you got to put the work in. You got to put the time in. You got to, you know what I mean? It's not just going to be handed to us. You know, we can't just, if we just sit back and just expect somebody to do it for us, it's going to be taken away. They're just going to swoop right in and just take it. And what are we going to do? Sit here and cry because we didn't, put the effort in. We didn't get out there, and we didn't, talk to the right people. We didn't send the right emails. We didn't make enough phone calls. We didn't reach enough people. At the end of the day, that if it happens, it's because we didn't do our part. And unless, like Sean says, we get out there and we get active, this is going to be all for nothing, guys. All these conversations that we've had, all this, effort that a lot of us, have actually put into this, is going to be all for nothing. And it's unfortunate for the people that actually truly, go to these meetings, make these emails, make those phone calls, it's not fair to them, for us to, say that we want this and we want this to stay around and, all this. But if we're not going to go out there and fight alongside them, what's the point?
It's true.
And you know what? We all
you guys know me.
This.
Yeah, you guys know me. I try to stay positive on a lot of this stuff, and I always try to push that positivity and keep, that positive outlook. But at a certain point, guys, it's just like I can only stay so positive if there's no one else behind me doing the same. Of course, I'm always going to continue to stay out there and keep the positivity rolling because it's something that we need. It's something that other people need to see, because if they see the positivity, it might spark a light into them and get them going on it. But that's also, why we have people like Sean that walk that line as well, to kind of, kick some people in the butt, get their ass in gear, give them a wake up call. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if we don't do our part, it's all for nothing, guys.
I encourage everyone to just be honest, be honest with yourself. That's what I'm preaching. Like, be honest with yourself here, because, at the end of the day, vaping disappears. Most of us, we're going to be okay. A lot of us know how to mix liquids. A lot of people know how to make mods. A lot of people can spin coil. So we're going to be okay, but we don't matter, man. We don't, because we're going to be okay. What matters are the people who are never going to have an opportunity to escape that. And
exactly
1,200 people dying every day.
And I mean, like flat out, ready? Somebody just died from smoking related illness. Wait. Somebody just died from a smoking related illness. Wait.
Thank you.
Yes.
Somebody just, every 10 to 15 seconds, somebody is dying from a smoking related illness. At the end of the day, we don't matter in this fight because we're going to be okay. We've already quit smoking. What matters are the people who are not going to get that chance. What matters are those people's families. If any of you have ever buried a loved one from smoking-related illness and had to watch somebody take their last breath on a ventilator, it's one of the most heartbreaking things you're ever going to experience. If I can spare that for another family, and all I got to do is talk to a politician for 10 minutes, I think it's worth it. Because that shit sucks. It is hell to go through.
And that's the main thing too, guys, is like Sean's saying, it's not so much that we're fighting to keep this around for us. Because like he said, we're going to be fine. A lot of us have multiple, different setups. A lot of us know people that make juice or whatever. We'll find our way. But this is for the people out there that haven't found this yet. The smoker out there that's still smoking 2 packs a day, that's killing themselves from emphysema or whatever else that they might be contracting from smoking cigarettes. You know what I mean? We're fighting for them. And, like, it's just, we got to keep this around, guys. There's so many more lives out there that could be saved by this product and, making this switch. Of course, there is still that percentage of unknown, but as we've seen from multiple studies, from the Royal College of Physicians and, stuff like that, it is, they say 95% safer, twice as, effective as any other, smoking cessation product out there on the market. This is something that needs to stay around because this is something that's works. It's proven. There's multiple people out there in chat and here on this stream itself that are proof that this is something that works. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we need to keep this alive for those that haven't found it.
I mean, we can echo Grim Green a little here too, and remind everyone this is about harm reduction.
Absolutely.
I mean, the fact is, I can drive my car around without a seatbelt on, and I can survive my entire life that way. Or I can drive my car around with a seatbelt on and still die in a car accident. But the odds are, the harm I will receive if I get into a car accident will be significantly reduced.
Exactly.
If I wear that seatbelt, it's like a condom. I can have sex without a condom or with a condom, but at the end of the day, that condom is going to keep me safe from disease. And that's what it's about. It's about reducing the harm from an activity that as an adult, you have the right to choose to partake in.
Exactly. There's a percentage of harm in anything you do in life. Walking out your front door in the morning has a percentage of risk involved. Breathing air now, depending on where you're located at, has a percentage of risk and causing some sort of problem. It's just the choices that you make, and them being pretty much, they're just taking away our right to choose. And
yeah,
that's not right in any shape or form. You know what I mean? Us as Americans should have our freedom to choose, whether it's choosing to, like Sean said, smoke a cigarette or vape or, anything. It's our right as a human being, as a United States citizen, to make the choice for ourselves.
Which begs the question, right? We're Americans. And not to get into this nationalism or anything, because that's not usually my way, but when the hell did we, as Americans, get that soft that we would lay down and let the government walk all over what we believe in and something that can save our lives? Some 30, 40 years ago, our hippie forefathers refused to go to war. And, there was a fighting spirit in those people, and they approached it with peace and love. Well, you know what, guys? Where did we change? How did we go from being willing to fight for what we believe in to, whatever? It's not in our blood as Americans to allow that. This country was founded on a level of civil disobedience. This country is founded on people who said, I don't like you and I don't like your laws.
And I'm on revolution.
Yeah, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start my own country, and there's nothing you can do about it. And when you try to stop me, I'm going to push back. Somewhere we lost the desire to push back. And I get it.
This is something I've noticed. We have become complacent. That
Yes.
there ain't nothing else to say besides that.
Yeah.
We're just cool with everything that's happening around us. You know, if it's not
Everyone's waiting on someone else to do
in
it
our
for
circle, we're blind to it. And that's part of the issue is no one is aware of what's going on around them is because they're so, you know, like a horse with blinders on. They only see what's in front of them and what they want to see. They're not open to see, you know, the bigger picture.
Yes.
And that's what part of the issue is, you know, in this day and, you know, this time period. And it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, and everyone's waiting on someone to do it for them. No one's I don't want to say no one's out there actually doing stuff like they should be, but
Not
if you
enough
really look at it, yeah, not enough are. Everyone's out there saying, oh, okay, well, once this guy does something, I'll do something, or oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. And I've procrastinated on stuff like this. I used to be the biggest procrastinator in the world. Here recently, I've been just like trying, like, hey, like as soon as I say I'm gonna do something, okay, no, let's not wait. Let's just go ahead and do it because I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna wait for it to. I don't want to wait until it's too late. I want to make sure I'm doing something now, and that's something that everyone's got to do out and go out there and do. And like we've all been saying, don't go talk to vapors. Yes, talk to vapors about it. It's okay to talk to them, but don't spend hours talking to vapors about, hey, what did you hear about this law? Oh man, this law is stupid. We need to fight this. No, go out there, talk to the people who just started vaping because they have no clue what the hell is going on with any of this unless they follow some of the social media websites or if they look it up or they hear on the news. But most times, all they do is they walk into their shop, they get their coil, they get their one bottle of juice that they only vape, they walk out. That's all they do. So we need to make sure we're hitting them up because they already know how much it's helped. And they could be a big push for us. They don't even have to be the hobbyists. They could be the people who are only been vaping for 6 months. Like, dude, I could feel amazing about it. Because once you first start vaping is when you feel the most fired up about it, honestly. For me, that's how it was. Once I first started, I was like telling everyone and anyone, dude, have you tried this? This does not taste like ass. It does not make you smell like ass. It tastes good, and you don't even smell it. I mean, there was a couple flavors out there back then where you'd blow them out and it'd smell like a fart.
And
but
honestly,
other than that, man, there's so much that we can do out there. Yeah, exactly. I hate going to a casino, man.
I don't know about you guys, but since I quit, you know, it's been 4 or 5 years now. Honestly, I can't remember at the moment, but now like there's people like that I work with on a daily basis that before I never really noticed, you know, the smell. And now like there's guys at work that I literally can't get within a couple feet of because they smell like an ashtray. And it's just it's disgusts me. And now I think back, it's like, did I smell that bad? Was I going around and people smelling this every time like I walked up to them? Like how disgusting is that? And it's just like how did they never say anything? You know what I mean? But, you know, as a smoker, that's something you don't notice because you're around it all the time, or you got one hanging out of your mouth or in your hand 90% of the time. You know what I mean? And it's that alone was worth it to me, you know, knowing that I'm not smelling like that. My car's not smelling like that. You know what I mean? And like taking my clothes off and not having it smell like I would dunk them in an ashtray beforehand. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like on my just said, he said, yes, you did smell bad. We all did. It's true.
Yep. And it's crazy, right? Because like when you think about the process of converting a smoker to vaping, this whole thing is super overwhelming. I mean, I know when I talk to a person who's trying to make that switch, I got a laundry list of questions I want to ask them because I'm trying to narrow down what direction that they need to go in. And some of them get a deer in the headlights look because they didn't realize that at this point in the game, vaping is so individualized that, okay, what are you looking for? You just want to replicate a cigarette? All right, cool. So now we've narrowed it down to mouth to lung systems. All right. Are you looking for refillable, non-refill? You want the simplest thing. All right. Pre-filled. You know, and you go down the line. And it's crazy because as you do that with these people, they give you this look like, how is it possible that there can be this much choice? And it is. And that's the beauty of this, right?
There's something out there for everybody.
Exactly. We can find the vape for you. And it may not be the vape for me, and it may not be the vape for James, or it may not be the vape for Jay. But at the end of the day, we can find the vape that fits for you. And, you know, for us, it might be giant, high power, lots of heat. For you, it might be super cool single coils or pod systems. But at the end of the day, we're not smoking cigarettes. That's what matters.
Absolutely.
That's what we're trying to do, is spread that knowledge and give that to the community, and not the vape community, the community. I mean, I would encourage everybody to just go hang out downtown in your local area. And when you see a smoker, say, hey, man, you know, I bet you think vaping's bad for you, don't you? And, you know, I'll bet you they'll tell you, yeah, vaping's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And you can go, hey, well, you know what? Actually, check this out. I mean, I remember saying it once before. Could you imagine if every vapor who wanted to be involved like that carried a couple packs of Stigs in their pocket? And anytime you met a smoker, just handed them a Stig and went, try that. And if it works for you, I'll help you get more. Be crazy what we could do.
Absolutely.
I mean, I convert so many friends just by handing them a 0 and saying, oh, you think you can't quit? You really think that? Here. And I hand that to them, and they take a couple hits and they go, wow, that feels just like a cigarette. And I go, I know.
Dude, before pod systems, the best thing out there was those small little Aspire tanks that were the size of an Ego battery.
Little Nautilus Mini.
Those were the best thing for anyone.
Yep.
Yes, I have a buddy at work who he still uses those to this day. In our shop in Venus, in our town, they actually carry those still, because there's so many people that want those because they want the draw of a cigarette, but they don't like the pod system because they don't like what they became, and they don't like how they've went up to like 50 milligrams, how high they go up. And I think there's even one that's like 65 or 55.
See, that's something I would love to
outrageous.
Is high milligram freebase coming back. It's something that we're starting to see more. Personally, I was a Nick Salt guy for a very long time, and I started noticing, like, this is something I mentioned last night. I'm not sure if it was on the show or afterwards in our chat, but there's times where I found myself without my Nick Salt pod system, I would get anxious, like I did when I didn't have my pack of cigarettes or something, you know what I mean? And it's like, I didn't like that feeling, because since I gotten away from cigarettes, I hadn't had that, you know what I mean? And the Nick Salts kind of got me back to that point. But, you know, recently I switched back to, you know, some 12 milligram 50/50 freebase nicotine in my Infinix, or, you know, my SX, or the Orion. And honestly, I get the throat hit that I would get from, you know, my 50 or 25, 30 milligram Nick Salts, but without the crazy amount of nicotine that I was getting, you know what I mean? So I could take 1 or 2 pulls off of this, set it down, and then go a while and not get that anxious feeling of not having a pod in my hand or in my pocket when I leave the room or something like that. Because I really think that, you know, we should really start getting back into the higher milligram freebase. I don't think anybody needs 50 milligrams of nicotine. It's pretty excessive in my opinion. Even though I was a 50 milligram, you know, Nick Salt user, now I'm seeing, you know, this is something I've had multiple conversations with Thick Nick, because that dude was hooked. I mean, hooked on his jewel, bro. Like, you wouldn't see him. He wouldn't be carrying around like, you know, a box mod or a tube or anything like that. Anytime I see him, he had that jewel hanging out of his mouth. And he's done a very similar thing. I believe he's switched to that freebase nicotine, and now he's able to actually enjoy a vape off of something with like a 3 milligram in it, or, you know, something like that. And I was kind of getting to that point where I was not getting satisfied by my normal, you know, 3 milligram sub-ohm devices. And I would, you know, take 1 or 2 rips off of this, and the next thing you know, I'd have to take 4 or 5 off of my pod system just to get what I was looking for. And that's just, in my opinion, way too excessive and way too much, you know, nicotine consumption at one time. And that, of course, that's just my
and I was doing the same thing. I was having to take a hit or two off of like the hammer, and then I'd take a hit off my pod system. But I was only doing I would get the lowest nicotine available. So like around 24 was the lowest I could find from like Vape Tasia. And there was a couple other ones that had like 20, but for the Nick salts, and I was still finding myself do that, still finding myself carrying my pod system around with me more than anything. Because I mean, at work, I don't want to carry around a huge mod in my pocket and then get it all dented up and stuff. So I usually just keep a pod system in my pocket, and if it breaks, it breaks. It's $20. I'm fine with that. I don't want to break something that's over $100 and mess that up. So I found myself doing that too, but that's also a way that I found to give back to my local vape shop. Because honestly, once I found out that you could order all this stuff online and it's even cheaper, I honestly stopped going to my local vape shop. And I'm pretty sure that most of us did, except for Sean, because he works there. But like me, I honestly stopped going to the vape shop. I'd go in there if I'm like, okay, I'm out of juice, I have nothing I want to vape. Let me go in there and pick up a bottle of juice real quick. And I honestly, that's what I started doing with my Nick salts. And then once I wanted to switch over back to freebase, around 12, 15 milligram freebase, I went there and I said, okay, hey, I want y'all to start making me some higher nicotine freebase flavors. I'm going to start trying those out. And I've honestly really liked it because I wanted to get off the Nick salts because there's not as much research done. They just kind of popped up, and I understand how they make it and everything, but there's 10 years of freebase nicotine, or 10 years or more of freebase nicotine that we've had research on, and we know what it does, and we know all the side effects and everything and how much it helps. But Nick salts, we're starting to see all these people get anxious and, oh, I need it. Like I got a buddy who's in chat right now who I know he used to be the big mod holder. Like you said, everyone has their own setups. He used to be the guy who every time a 3-battery mod came out, he was like, I'm getting it. And then my other buddy, he'd be like, oh, anything with a 2-battery, I'm fine. Me, I was just, hey, I rocked mech mods for a long time, and that's what I really liked using. And we all had our own different ways, and now I see some of my friends going to the Nick salts, and one buddy's just got off of them, but I have a buddy who just got on them who's at 50 milligrams. I'm like, dude, maybe you should start trying this, or maybe you should start trying that, just because I don't want someone else to get into that habit of, oh, man, I need it. I want them to be like, okay, yeah, it's something that helps me. It's not something I need to sit there and search and tear up the whole house if I lose it. You know what I mean?
So I mean, there's some interesting. There actually is some interesting research about Nick salts and how it affects the human body. And strangely enough, I'm glad this came up because I was just listening to somebody talk about it earlier today. Shout out to Vape Radio, the David G Show, because they were actually talking about a topic this morning. But the issue with salt nicotine is that in the process in the lab, when they're taking a freebase nicotine and adding the acid to turn it into a crystalline structure, you're getting that effect of the rapid absorption. What you're also getting is an ability for it to store itself in your body. And so what happens is you start to build up a level in your body. And so now you've got all this stimulant built up in your body. And when it starts to dip, you start to have a withdrawal and you start getting your panic attack. Now, when the freebase nicotine is ingested into your body, because it doesn't have that acid, it doesn't take the same pathway through the body into the brain. And what you end up with is the response that our bodies have with traditional nicotine. We don't get the anxiety. We don't get that itchiness that, oh my God, I don't have a pod system. I need to go vape. And it's because of that chemical structure. It's crazy when I say it like this. Some people recoil the second I say it, but Juul created a product strictly to hook people that on their device so that they could not get away from that and that they would be stuck with a choice: smoke 3 times as many cigarettes or buy my next pack of Juul pods. I'm going to buy the Juul pods. So that was what really led us to this prevalence of salt nicotine. And all salt nicotine is a friggin' gimmick. It's a way to keep you hooked on a product line so that you can't ever get away from it. People use salt nicotine in these mouth to lung devices, and they're reliant on the nicotine content for that throat hit. A lot of your salts are out there in a 60-40 and a 70-30 blend. So we're relying completely on 50 milligrams of nicotine for that feeling in the back of your throat. Now, by contrast, when we go to the 18 milligram or the 12 milligram in a free base, that's already a lot more rowdy of a nicotine than a salt is. Couple that with that 50-50 base, and that 50% PG packs a little bit of a wallop. And between all of those things, what do you end up with? You end up with an effective device that gets people their control back. And to me, I'm all about taking the little bits of control in life that we can have back. And one thing that nobody should lose control over is their own body. I think we need to maintain control of our own body at all times. And so when a product like salt nicotine takes that control away from us, that should be a red flag that this is probably something that's not good for me.
I don't necessarily think that Juul released the 50 I don't think that was their intent, was to like 100% hook somebody. I just don't think they were aware of how addictive that 50 milligram was going to be in the long run. I believe like if they would have started off something a lot lighter, it may have been a different outcome. But my personal opinion, I think 50 milligrams is just way too high. You know, of course, you do have your 24 milligram free base. So why didn't they just do 25 or 24 milligram Nick salt and start there instead of doubling that? You know what I mean? Of course, like I said, that's my opinion. And that, you know, of course, John's got his as well. And that's part of the thing with this whole vaping thing is it's subjective to everybody. And that's kind of one thing that we've got to keep in mind when we have conversations like this. Everybody's going to have a different point of view, and we got to make sure we're not attacking each other for each point of view. We can say what we're going to say, and at the end of the day, if you don't agree, you don't agree. But that's just why, that's one of the things I love about shows like this. It's like me and Sean, we have similar points of view on this, but we also have kind of contrasting points of view at the same time. But being able to come to something like this and have this open forum for conversation is a great place, and this is something we need to continue to bring outside of YouTube and social media and have these conversations with just normal people.
And
but yeah, dude,
right?
It's
it feels to more than one person whenever that's honestly why I wanted to start doing the lives and start having more people, even if it wasn't a live, is because I could appeal to more people, not just because they're like, oh, okay, I got the Angry Hippie and I got Frames Janklin on here, let's go watch it because of that. No, they're like, okay, well, there's going to be 3 different opinions on there. There's going to be some rants. There's going to be opinions. There's going to be not an argument, but a discussion about
exactly
what people believe in. And that's something I really wanted, is because when I started this YouTube channel, I really wanted to start it with a buddy over reviewing products, because I wanted people to have more than one look at one product. So that way it's more like, okay, well, I got me and Stone right here. Let me see if I like it. Okay, here, you try it. Okay, yeah, you don't like it. Oh, well, what do you think about it? What do you not like? What do I like? And it gives, and that's honestly something I really like about watching different reviewers too, is because you can get more than one opinion, you get more than one look at it, and it gives you more of an idea of what you're actually looking at. And just like this, it gives you more of an idea of what kind of advocacy stuff and activism stuff is actually going on. And I mean, Sean, I mean, he's the guy who's out there always active. James, you're the guy who's always out there being positive, but still trying to fight that fight that we need to have. Because, I mean, it's like someone put in the chat earlier, it's not a fight that we're fighting, it's a war. I mean, it's just like in any war, you're going to have multiple fights, multiple battles. But it's a war in the long run that we have to keep battling. And something I kind of went on earlier was the whole thing of the whole thing of it, we don't all have to throw money at it. This is something that you could, like Sean says, you can actually go out there and you can just talk to someone about it. You don't have to sit there and say, oh, okay, yeah, well, let me throw money at this, let me throw money at that. Because honestly, I don't have a lot of money. Not everyone in the world is made of money. but you can go out there and you can use your word and you can use the power of your voice that you have, because we do have freedom of speech here in America. You can use your freedom of speech to go out there and actually talk to people.
To kind of add to that point, is like, even though you may not have money to put towards this, you have time, and your time is money.
Yes.
So absolutely. If you can invest time, that's just as good as you investing your money into this. If you invest the time to do the emails and make these calls and show up to these rallies and have your voice be heard, that's just as important as funding, the fight, being a part of the fight.
Yeah, it's all about time management.
It's almost more important.
Yeah, it's all about time management.
Because we need to foster the love of vaping and the love of the involvement in this vaping with people. And so I like to use my wife as a great example, because she's a bartender by profession. And so she'll be sitting at the bar, and naturally, as we all know, by being vapors, we can identify the smoker pretty quickly these days. And she'll, in passing, she'll hear the conversation and she'll say, well, actually, if you were to switch to vaping completely, you could reduce your harm and see health improvements rather quickly. And these are the kind of opportunities that can be taken. And that's an example of just how easy it can be, that you can quickly interject yourself into a conversation and say, actually, guys, this is really what's going on. If you want to learn more information, there's these couple of websites you can go check out. And it's really that simple, because we need to change the public opinion. When you've got half of our country thinking that vaping is as bad or worse than smoking cigarettes, we need to clearly do a PR campaign that fixes that. And the way to do that is to talk to people who don't smoke and who don't vape. And we need to talk to people who are current smokers, because they're the ones who are going and they're voting, and that's the key. If the public genuinely thinks that vaping is bad, they'll happily support any piece of legislature that gets rid of it. But if they begin to understand that kids vaping is bad, because kids should never consume nicotine, but adults need to keep vaping around because it's going to get them off of cigarettes, they'll begin to see that it's not so black and white, that there's this gray area in the middle that we have to find and meet at.
Yeah, and that's one thing I always bring up is the whole kids epidemic thing, I don't see it. There's not an epidemic with kids vaping. But the thing is products like Juul came out and they saw a spike in it. So they had to do something. And that's the whole thing is, yes, kids vaping is bad. Kids should not be addicted to nicotine. Kids should not be smoking cigarettes, chewing tobacco, doing any kind of tobacco product or vaping product. If you're not of the legal age, 18 or 21, wherever you live at, you should not be doing it. But it's something that adults need to fight for, even if you're not a vapor. And that's something that we need to do, is get out there to the adults who aren't even vapors or smokers, because it's something that can save your life. And like Sean said, I mean, yeah, kids vaping is bad, but for the adults, it's something that has helped a whole bunch of people. And it's all about time management, because you can honestly go out there and you could do something about it with your voice, with your social media platform, with writing a letter, like Sean and James just said. But it's about time management. And the way I'm trying to get with this is, if you're sitting there on your ass watching Netflix for 30 minutes, and most people don't, if you watch one show on Netflix and you like it, you're going to keep going and going. Take out one show. I did that the other day. I got my daughter to sleep. My fiance was laying in bed. I say, you know what? I could pull up my phone while she's watching Netflix. Let me research some stuff. And I have a notepad right here with stuff that I wrote down. Because whenever I write something, I remember it. If I copy and paste it, I'm not going to remember that well. But if I hand write something, it's going to go into my brain better. So that's what I did. And it's, instead of scrolling through Instagram, liking all those pictures, trying to make your platform bigger, take 10 minutes out of the day instead of scrolling through Instagram. Google something. Google has all the answers, or not all the answers. It has a lot of answers out there that you can look up. All this I found on my phone. I use my phone and Google to find all this, and I have pages and pages of research that I've been doing.
Absolutely. One thing I want to add in too is Addy Tooney dropped an amazing link for you guys in the chat as well, is where you can find your local reps and be able to contact them through their email. It's probably got their phone number on there. Make a phone call. you can use it, utilize that site, guys. Send it to your friends and family. Let them know about it. Tell them to contact them. You know, let your friends that you know, your coworkers that vape, anybody that you know that vapes, or even someone that smokes, let them know about this. You know, this is a great way, like I said, to find your local reps and figure out how to contact them, and, you know, send those emails off and just, you know, spread the word, guys. Another great thing he says, let your doctor know. Tell your doctors about, you know, the health
Yes.
benefits that you've noticed since this. Let them spread the knowledge to them as well, because, you know, the more people that we have telling doctors about this, doctors may start backing this more as well if they start seeing that that's, you know, something that's working for you. And if they get enough people coming in and showing, you know, the health benefits of this, it might be something to help spin, you know, the view on it as well, guys.
You know, and like just to reiterate in that, remember who you're talking to. These are folks. They are older folks. They are career politicians that you're going to speak to. Speak to them with respect. Speak to them eloquently. But keep in mind that these people are still human beings. They're still human beings. They're just like you and I. And yeah, money may influence them, and, you know, this, that, and the other thing may be an influence to them. But you'd be very surprised when you can actually look one of these people in the eye and tell your story, how effective it can be. I got a friend who works for our New England branch of the Vapor Tech Association, and he sat down and had a meal with his local representative and got 2 hours of his local rep's time. And what was really crazy, his local rep is just 3-4 doors down from his home. It's his actual neighbor. Like, these are actual people. They live in our communities, and though their opinions and our opinions differ on certain topics, at the end of the day, they're doing what they genuinely, in their heart of hearts, believe is the right thing to do for their constituents. So we have to change the minds of their constituents and change their minds to understand that we could save even more lives by keeping this technology around.
Yeah. And like y'all elaborated on earlier, it's not about us. It's not about the vapors who are out there. I know people who can make mods. I don't know people who can make RDAs, but I'm pretty sure we can find someone within the whole vape community who can make them. Juices. Got plenty of people who can make juices. Coils. Tons of people can make coils. They can't outlaw wire, or they can't make wire illegal. But there's so much that we know we have and we could do, and we'll be fine with. I think that's why everyone is in that state of mind of, I'm okay. I don't need to do nothing. I'm okay. I know I'll be fine. But it's the whole thing of, it's not about us. It's about the people later on in life. Like, if my daughter eventually became a smoker, I wouldn't want her to be sitting there saying, man, I wish there was something like vaping around. I want to be that person who's not a what if person. I want to be that person who went out there and I could say, hey, you know what? I actually went out there and did something. I went out there. I put my word out there. Because, I mean, it's just like voting. If Trump got elected and you're like, man, I hate this guy, but you didn't go vote, you can't complain. If you complain about anything, you can't, like, you're not supposed to, because you didn't do nothing about it. You didn't vote against it. You didn't tell people about it. There's so much that you could do by just sitting down for 15 minutes a day. And Sean, your quote that you said earlier, man, I love it. Eric Thomas, he uses that on every YouTube video he does at the very beginning. And I love that quote, or not the quote, the story. And he uses the small part of the quote at the beginning of every video. And man, I watch almost all his videos, and it's exactly like he said it. If you gotta want to succeed more than you want to breathe. It's out there. Like, there's so much information out there for us to just grab, but we're not doing it. All we have to do is just apply ourselves, educate yourself. I can't remember, someone, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, is educate and communicate. Communication is the biggest thing, no matter where you're at, work or anywhere else. Communicate. If someone doesn't communicate to you that you need to ship something out, how are you supposed to know? If you don't communicate that vaping is better for you, 2 times more effective, healthier for you, and all this other stuff. And there's all these trials and clinical trials that have been done on it to where it shows that it's proven. How is someone supposed to know if we're not communicating it? Not everyone's going to go out there and Google vaping. Is it healthier or not? Not everyone's going to do that. It's something that we need to make sure we're helping people out with. Do the work for them so that way you can go out there and you can show people. You owe your life to this. Honestly, I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, I owe my life to this bottle of juice right here, man. It's the best bottle of juice. It got me off of smoking cigarettes or chewing tobacco or anything like that. You owe your life to the community because the community has done so much. Grim Green, all those people out there who have put so much time and so much effort into something that they believed in. We need to show our support and we need to do what we can to help out with it also.
And I want to
just one thing I want to
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're fine.
Well,
go ahead.
To piggyback that, I know that there's often an argument that comes back from that, and it's that I mean I even heard it last night in the chat that like nobody ever asked smokers to save the tobacco industry. So why do we ask vapors to try to save the vape industry? Shouldn't that be the industry's job? You guys are right. You're right. There's never been a cigarette rally. There's never been, people on the consumer level that are advocating and trying to fight for the safety and sanctity of their cigarette. You're absolutely right. That being said, the tobacco industry, as I stated earlier, built this country. And as a result, it's one of the most powerful industries in our country. And vaping is an infant. So, to play that analogy, you can imagine that you've got an old ass man about to kick a toddler in the face. That's what we're looking at. We're a toddler. We barely learned to walk at this point as an industry. And the industry is built by a bunch of people with no business acumen, with no political background. They're you and they're me. The guy who owns my shop, he's a dude who's only a few years older than me, who put aside $20,000 several years ago and managed to start a vape shop. And he's just trying to navigate the waters of this and keep his business running. And yet he still wants to be involved too. And that's the catch, is that there's so many of these people working in the background that we'll never get to see. Safada and Casa and the VTA, and there's a million more letter combination names for organizations, and they're working in the background. And the sick thing is that what they're doing doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. An individual last night said, fuck advocacy. I've put all this time and money and effort into it, and it's gotten nowhere. All the taxes passed, nothing got stopped. What did that do? And I understand that frustration. I live it on a day-to-day basis. I want to say that I'm no hero. None of us here are heroes for doing what we're doing. We all have our days where we're like, man, it's over. Vaping's done. But the fact is that we strap the boots on every day, and we get up and we keep chanting the war cry, and we keep saying what we got to say, and we keep staying vocal. And I get it at the town level, county level, city level, state level, and national level. It's going on everywhere. And it's so much to take in that it's a sensory overload. But you know what? If you just want to work on what's going on in your town or your county, just do that. You want to work on what's going on in your state, just do that. You want to attack the national campaign, you can do that. Just know that your voice matters. And even when we fall, we get back up. We keep fighting this fight because it's a long journey. And we got another 2 years before the FDA starts really, really screwing with us. So that's 2 more years. that we can change these hearts and minds and maybe reverse some of the damage that they intend to do to us. Why not try? We can, you know, we can hold our, as I've said before, I can hold my head high or die, or I can live and duck. My attitude is celibate. I don't give a fuck. Like, we're going to fight. We're going to hold our heads high, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And if we lose, we can all say that we went down fighting. And there's honor in that. There's no honor in hiding. Let's be honorable, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, we can't sit back and wait. It's kind of like what I said, kind of like what you elaborate on. You can't. We can't sit back and wait for the rest of the community to do something. If you want to see this stay around, we all need to get off our asses and do something now. It's something that we don't need to get off and do now. We should have done it yesterday. There's people who always say that, oh yeah, we needed this to be done yesterday. Yeah, we did. Same thing with vaping. We needed this to be done yesterday because I mean we owe our lives to these people out here who've made these products to help us get off it. But they should also be helping. But we're not going to sit back and wait and say, oh, I'm going to wait till I see a company like this go out there and they start doing something, or until I see Desire Tech go out there and start doing something. Then I'll go out there and I'll help out. No, we need to go out there. We need to do something now, because if we wait around for them, we might be waiting until it's too late.
And that's
then also
like you don't know. Okay, so like you're sitting here watching your Instagram feed all day, like, oh well, they ain't done shit yet. Well, listen, all right. This company right here, ADV E-Liquid, who makes the strawberry banana smoothie, you are never, ever going to see an advocacy post on their social media. Ever. I dare you to challenge me and say that they aren't doing things for this industry and fighting for this. Because one of the owners is one of the co-founders of the New England Vapor Tech Association. He's put more money, more time, and more effort than any of us. That dude's going to every town meeting, every committee meeting in the entire New England region, which he's covering like 4 or 5 states.
Yeah, and the thing is too, guys, is just because you don't see them posting publicly that they are doing things, a lot of these companies are doing stuff behind the scenes that they just don't put out there publicly because they don't feel like they need to be putting it out there saying like, oh, well, look, no, they're just doing it.
Real G's move in silence.
Exactly.
That's what's going on.
Even though you may not be seeing it happen, there are companies out there that are pushing for this and that are putting, their hard-earned money up, to help, put forward, luncheons and, whatever it may be to help, our fight, guys. There are companies out there doing it. So just because you may not be seeing it out there in the public, them making the posts and stuff like that, there are companies out there doing it, but we need more of them to do it.
That's right.
At the end of the day,
it's a multi-pronged approach. We can't expect that social media is going to be the only solution. And so there's got to be guys going to meetings. There's got to be guys doing social media. There's got to be people writing letters. There's got to be people sending emails. We all have to do a little bit of everything. And so if all you can handle in your life is to send an email, send a weekly email to all your reps. I don't care if you write yourself a form letter and save that and copy and paste it every week into the next email. Like it can be that easy if you really want to make it that easy. If you want to get involved and do more, then write the physical letter, go to one of these town meetings, speak up like that. But if that's not something you're comfortable doing, but you want to be involved, you can be. You can be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And just a few things I want to bring up before we signed off and everything was I wanted to bring up some research that I actually found out, and it is that the top 5 ways of death in America is the top 10. 5 out of those 10 are related to smoking. And it goes anywhere from heart disease, lung cancer, and it says 80 to 90% of people who die from lung cancer is due to smoking. And it goes anywhere from heart disease, lung cancer, cancer in general, chronic lower respiratory disease, strokes, kidney disease. All of those are related to smoking. And everyone I looked up, it said, okay, well, what's the causes? Smoking. What's the way to stop this? stop smoking. What's a good, effective way to smoke or to stop smoking? Start vaping. There's so much that we could do out there to help these people out, because it's not me just sitting here telling y'all because I want to see vaping continue. I don't want to see people die in America. There's almost 500,000 people dying every year just in America alone. I'm not even talking worldwide. This is just in America alone. Almost 500,000 people dying every year. And like Sean said earlier, oh, wait, there's someone that just died. 10 seconds later, oh, wait, someone just died. He's not elaborating on that, guys. He's not over-exaggerating. There's over 1,300 people dying every day just from a smoking-related disease, and it ended up causing them death. They end up dying and losing their life. But then you think about it. It could be someone out there who's 21 who started smoking at the age of 16, 15. So maybe it might put something into y'all's brains of, okay, hey, maybe I should, if I see someone doing that, if I see a kid walking up to someone outside of a corner store and he says, hey, man, can you buy us some cigarettes? Maybe I should say something to both of them. Maybe I should just let it slide and act like I didn't hear it, because that kid could get addicted. And then later on down the road, that's honestly what we're fighting for, is to save people's lives. I'm not doing this because I want to save vaping. I'm trying to save people's lives. I don't want to see people die. I've never had to bury a family member from smoking, and I'm glad for that. All the people in my family who smoked or used tobacco products all quit. But I've had to bury one of my coaches before, and it was a hard thing for me. This guy who coached me all through my Little League years of baseball, I had to go to his funeral. It was the first funeral that I was old enough to know what was actually going on, and it was one of the hardest things. And now I look back on it, I'm like, it was because of cancer. Okay, how did he get cancer? He smoked a lot. That's how. And it's just something that just clicked in my brain of how this is something that I can use a platform on YouTube, social media, word of mouth, to get the word out there to try to save people's lives. Because, like Sean said, it sucks burying someone, a loved one or a family member or anything, for dying because they couldn't quit smoking. They couldn't quit putting down something that was tobacco rolled in paper. They couldn't quit lighting that cigarette. There's so much we could do out there. All you have to do is just put it in someone's brain. All you have to do is just say a word. Just say it. If you just say it, that's it. You put it in their brain. They don't listen. Okay. But it's something like with the emails. You can keep doing it weekly. Like, I have a boss at work. Oh, yeah, man, that vaping stuff's going to kill you the same time I'm going to die whenever I'm smoking. No, it won't. Well, what do you mean? It's the same thing. No, it's not. I just sit there and I'll go back and forth with them every time. Might be my boss, but I'll argue with him over something that is not related towards work. And I'll sit there and no, it's not. This is something that's 95% healthier. It's 2 times more effective to get you off of smoking cigarettes. And it's something, I try to argue with him weekly just to put it in his brain so that way he can keep thinking of it. Okay, yeah, maybe I should try it. I'm waking up, I'm having chest pains. I can't sleep at night because I'm having to wake up and go smoke a cigarette because I need that nicotine. Or every 5 minutes at work, I'm having to step away because I need a cigarette. It's little things that they're going to start realizing once you put it in their brain, it's going to start clicking. Hey, maybe I do need to try stopping. It might not even be with vaping. They might say, hey, I want to try nicotine gum to try it. But you're putting that in their brain that smoking is going to eventually kill them. It's going to be the death of them. It's stuff out there like that we could save people's lives with. So, if y'all have anything to say y'all want to about that, if not, we'll go ahead and sign off.
I think you summed that up really well, man.
I think so too, man.
Yeah, and it's just something that has been in my brain for a little bit. After I watched y'all's rants the other day and y'all showing people how to, like even M-Turk, he was sitting there and he was showing people how to go on and fight the bill in Nevada. And he's like, you have to live here. Just do this. You're fine. There's so many ways you could do it. It's just try to stay up to date with it. You don't have to stay up to date with everything. Me, I go from city, county, state. Once I'm updated on all 3 of those every week, I go, okay, closest states, all the states in the U.S. Okay, then let me go to the world, because I want to stay up to date with what is happening around me Then I start expanding out every week. I'll just keep doing it. So that way I know, okay, what's going on? What's going on? But stay with what is going on around you. And then after that, try to help the people out there who are around the world and around the US or around your state. Try to help those other people out too, because they need the help too. They need support. There's so many people out there who need the support, but they're not getting it. And they're not having people who are saying, you know what, let me go out there and help. We could be their support. Use your word of mouth. Use your social media. Use everything you can to try to put this out there. Emailing people, calling. There's so much you could do. It takes 10 seconds, and they put that link in there, but it takes 10 seconds to look up who your representatives are. I typed in Texas state representatives. It pulls up all of them. And then I go to this one website, put in what county I'm in, put in my address, boom. Took me less than 30 seconds, had exactly who my representative, my governor, my mayor, everything. I had all of it out. It's simple, easy. And then all you have to do, like you said, take 10, 20 minutes a day. Think of a letter to write to them. Put it in your notepad. Whenever you want to send it, and whenever you're sending it to the people, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Put, Dear Mr. So-and-so. But make sure we are being respectful. Make sure we are being presentable. Have that demeanor that you know you're educated. Educate yourself before you try to educate others, but make sure we're trying to educate others, because that's something that we need to do. Whenever you educate, you learn more. You can spread that knowledge. Don't keep that knowledge in. Spread it. But if y'all want to go ahead and do y'all sign-offs, and if y'all have anything that y'all want to promote, maybe some new stuff coming up on y'all's channel, maybe some new Angry Hippie rants. I like to see those. I mean, if y'all have anything y'all want to promote or anything, go ahead and do it.
Well, I went first, so why don't you go first?
All right. Well, I don't have anything really crazy coming up. I will say that a new review will be coming out on Wednesday for you guys. Of course, Vaping with the Omies will be on my channel this Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Not 100% who we have on as a guest yet, but we'll be letting you guys know. Also, you know, like I said, review on Wednesday. Of course, you come hang out with me and Sean on Friday for that Green Room stream. And then, you know, after that, I'm going to be starting to drop, 2 reviews a week. It's going to be starting to do on Mondays and on Wednesdays. So they're going to be, 2 reviews pumping out of the Frames Janklin Vapor channel for you guys in the upcoming, months and stuff like that. Also planning on doing some other fun things here soon. Of course, I started that Teespring shop. So if you guys want to pick up some Frames Janklin Vapor merch, you guys go check that out at teespring-store-Frames Janklin Vapor. And, other than that, that's pretty much it. Of course, I want to thank you, Jay, for having us on, man. Absolute pleasure being on the show. Would definitely, love to come back on again in the future if you ever want us, man. It's always great, hanging out and chat, some friends, and just having a good conversation. With that being said, I'll hit my sign off one time. You guys send those positive vibes, crisp high fives your way, and we'll just vape on, y'all. Go ahead, Sean.
All right, guys. So for me, the next video probably gonna drop Tuesday or Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. For Jay, those angry hippie rants come whenever I get a hair across my ass, so you never know. Something might just fire me up this week, and I might have to make a video for one of those too. You never actually know. To me, the big thing that I want to actually announce today here amongst everybody, since we're all advocacy driven and that's why we're here. I mentioned it earlier that I Quit Smoking by Vaping was a small group of advocates that was really trying to make some impacts. And at the time we really were. And unfortunately, the man that we had leading us had some personal health issues, and he had to step back and take a break. And admittedly, we all dropped the ball and we didn't keep going. And last night, Vaping Politician of Phoenix Vapor and myself agreed that it's time to bring it back and time to come back with vengeance. So expect some big movement coming from iQuitSmokingByVaping.com again, because I don't know about him. We haven't had a chance to fully talk about it, but my vision and my hope is that we can turn that website into your go-to source for your advocacy and activism needs. So if you want to have a way to connect to all of those resources that you need for your knowledge, so that you can send these people data, so that you can send these people the letters, what have you. We want to compile all of that and get it in one place for you. And that way you'll be able to turn to I Quit Smoking by Vaping and say, hey, your one source for all of that is this website, and they'll take you to Casa and Safada and all those guys.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to that too, Sean, is the Instagram as well is going to be back, and it's going to be cranking out the same type of deal, guys. So not only will you have the website, but the Instagram, you'll be seeing plenty of, any reposts or anything that come across, the Instagram feeds are going to be popping up there. Any calls for action or anything like that are seen are going to be thrown up there as well. We're definitely going to try to get this rolling again, guys, because this is definitely something that is needed, and it shouldn't have been put to the wayside for so long. So this is something that we're bringing back, and we're going to start a movement.
And Breeze Tones, absolutely. I am 100% on board to get even international organizations on board. And I would love to have you be our representative out there if you're down. So trust me, we really want to make an impact this time, because we came really close to getting things really rolling before the accident that kind of had us all disband. So that being said, guys, stay tuned. If you really want to get yourself involved, you can go ahead and shoot James a message. We will gladly help you get involved in any of that. Shoot Jay a message. Jay will gladly help you get involved. He can connect you to us. If he's not, comfortable giving you some direction, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we really want to get anybody who wants to be involved in whatever capacity that they're comfortable in. Absolutely. And yeah, man, beyond all that, you guys already know what I'm going to tell you. And I think after today's segment, I hope these words ring truer than ever. Don't let the bastards get you down. Be cool. Don't be a dick. And let's keep it cloudy.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is the end of the show. And I'm really glad that I had y'all two on. It was amazing. It was a really good show. Thank y'all for taking y'all's time. And I want to thank everyone out there who's in chat and who watched this live, and whoever's watching the replay. I really want to thank y'all for watching this. Everyone out there, all the people in the chat. I mean, this is just something that I really wanted to be a big platform, just not to get famous or anything, but so that way I can get as much information out there in as little time as possible. An hour and a half out of someone's day to watch this. You might miss 3 of your Netflix shows, but hey, you're learning some information, and it might put you on the right train of thought. Like this title is, don't get mad, get motivated. Let's all get motivated out there. Let's do something. Let's get active. And I'll see y'all later. Let's keep it cloudy, friends, and vape on.
Bye.